Welcome back, everybody. So, the very next character that I decided to go do the horseman on, I got the key. Also, I did get the achievement. I don't know why those 3 times it didn't work, but once I did it with my mage and I just went to those Wickermen one at a time, this time it actually worked. This time I actually got all 4 of them, made sure all 4 of them were activated, and this time it actually did give me the achievement, so that's nice. So, you're probably going, well, what's with this key? Well, that's how you unlock the old vanilla version of Scarlett Monastery. In fact, let's go ahead and let's use Ancient Dalaran. This is going to be hilarious. Fortunately, as a mage, there are ways to deal with this. For one thing, I have Slow Fall. I also have Ice Block, so... Alright. Little Lars just floating down with me. Crusader Journey the Defiled. Oh no. Alright. So now that we have this key, the next thing we do once we have this key is we are going to head to Scarlett Monastery. In fact, we may be, over the next couple of videos, you may be, you'll also notice this. Do you notice that right there? That's part of what I was referring to. They've actually now even added that. Oh, that's great. So the people who do the add-ons, this is part of an add-on I have that's supposed to show the locations of instance entrances. You know, like where you can enter an instance. They added one for Noxramas right here because that's where it used to be back in vanilla. Now, I don't have access to that yet on my account, but it's still showing there because I can still do that because... Spoilers! This is a secret! Don't tell anybody! But there is a way to be able to unlock old vanilla Sholomance, and once you do that, you can unlock stuff from...
Fate's wheel turns!
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize the horseman was talking. But then again, this is, of course, where you would go for the Hallows End stuff, which I'll have to check whether or not which version of Tirisfal I need to use in order to be able to do that. So, from what I understand, the way this works... Sorry, I'm just kind of tilting my head at what I'm looking at right here. Trying to kind of figure out and understand what is happening. I'm like, what? What am I seeing? Actually, I think this is actually part of that quest line. Helpful Shade. I think this is actually part of that new quest line I heard they added for Hallows End this year. So I'll probably do that on a separate video, but for now... I want to show you guys what you can do with this. So you'll notice right here, look at this. Old keyring. This is what the Scarlet Key is for. Though dirt and rust have accumulated on these keys, the one you currently possess looks no different otherwise. As you return the key to its rightful place, it may prove difficult to ignore the passing curiosity of what it may unlock, given the evident abandonment of those already present. Surely no one would be the wiser if you chose to borrow it in the future. Scarlett Monastery of Old. Now, I heard people were talking about this, you know, because stuff gets data mined all the time. And word was spreading about, like, oh, what's this? What are they going to do with Old Scarlett Monastery? Yeah, grants access to a Scarlett Monastery of Old for all characters on your account. Which, can I just say, I'm so happy that they are having these things be account-wide. That is fantastic.
Time is short! I'll soon retire!
Yeah, that's great. So then you click on the old keyring again, and you get this buff here called the Scarlet Key, retracing the steps of those who came before. Now, of course, the trash in here is still level 30, so... Now, the revamped versions of these dungeons from Pandaria are still here. There's one right there. Also, what in the world? I believe I have... Yep. Level 11. Yep, I'm pretty sure I just spotted a couple of bots. Unfortunately, I missed my chance to report that person. You'll notice these doors right here. So this is how this works. If you want to do the Pandaria versions, you can go through these portals there. Or, you have these other versions here. Now, actually, hold on a second. Let me double check this. Ah, so it affects all 4. Okay. So I may actually do separate videos in my soloing dungeon series because I was only at the time able to do... So yeah, this is the... I recognize the layout of this place. Now, if you're wondering, well, what's the point of this? Well, for one thing, it's a nice way for players to be able to explore, like, old instance content, which I'm totally in favor of. But also, this allows players to collect stuff that was available back then that is not available in the game anymore. What? I just felt like... Look, I'm seeing these Scarlet Torturers. Torturers. They deserve to die. You know, I gotta say, for a revamped version of this, it's like, huh, okay. Or not, that's the wrong phrase, I'm sorry. I don't mean revamped. I mean bringing back content from the era of vanilla. But then again, considering that we have WoW Classic, it makes me wonder, was this something they could have always done, or did they just not want to, or were they just unable to? I don't know. Because I find myself wondering, okay, also, is this somewhere we can go down to? No, it's not. There's just Anguish Dead. But you can go into here, though. I didn't pop Time Warp. That's a talent I have that lets me be able to have like a free 6-second cast of Time Warp for myself. It's actually the talent that's not chosen, but I really like it. So I'm guessing this was the boss down here from back in the day. Thalnos.
We hunger for vengeance.
Huh. Do you mind? Huh. A chest with just a bunch of loot in there. But then again, this was vanilla. That was kind of a thing back then. So I'm really curious about, like, this from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, like, whether or not this was something they always could have done, or if it was something they didn't want to do, or was it only possible once they realized they could do WoW Classic, and then once they had WoW Classic going, they were like, you know what? This is instance content. So why couldn't we just simply have it where players, if they want to, can be able to select doing this as an instance version of this content? Because you guys, I'm sure, can, like, if you see my videos about the versions of these dungeons from Pandaria, you can probably recognize some of the layout of this place. And I will admit, I didn't think that there was any chance of me being able to actually, like, go through this stuff. Unless I was to play WoW Classic, which I did not see myself ever actually doing. And this is the monastery. Library. So that was the graveyard we were at. The armory. And the cathedral. So I figured let's just go ahead and go through these since, you know, the point of this is like, hey, we unlocked this for our account. Now we can go ahead and check these out and get stuff that we couldn't get before. What's funny is I'm level 70, they're level 30, and they are still aggroing me at a decent range. That's interesting. Ah, so there's a boss in this room. Houndmaster Losky. I am guessing... Ah, interesting. Okay, so it's not fully up to date. There's Thalnos the Soul Render. Yeah. So even though it does show up here in the classic, you know, section, that doesn't necessarily mean, because again, you'll see that Miss Pandaria, it shows up again right there as well, so. But unfortunately, it looks like I can't pull up the vanilla version of this.
Release the hounds!
Oh, that's funny. So you heard him like audibly say release the hounds, but you'll see it in my chat window. Because I'm a horde race, I can't understand what he's saying. He's speaking common, but it comes out as... Because language barrier nonsense.
I need to target something first.
Oh, apparently I could understand that guy perfectly well. You notice that?
It's locked.
Huh. Man, even the portraits are back to how they were back in the day. I mean, just look at that portrait of that boy up there. Looks like the little boy model you've seen, I'm sure, many times. Including Anduin in back in vanilla. Now, is this the place where the secret boss is? It might be in the other one. One of the other dungeons. Because there was 4. Like, we went from 4 to 2. Which I find kind of odd that they decided, like, when the changes came around in Cataclysm and Pandaria, that they decided to make it just 2 dungeons rather than 4. But apparently here in the library, there's only 2 bosses. Here and here. And again, I've done videos on the Pandaria versions of these dungeons, so... Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to actually, like, read the lore for these on you guys, unless I, you know, I'm going to have to go look these up if I actually want to do these videos in my Soloing Dungeon series. Arcanist Doan. Now, if you're a mage, you probably have visited the Scarlett Hall's dungeon, because... Aha! There are books you can interact with it here. Civil War in the Plague Lands. There's even a tome here for a mage. You guys are probably wondering, how did I get this right here? The Ancient Portal. You actually get it in this dungeon right here. His strongbox.
You will not defile these mysteries.
For some reason I can understand this guy, but I couldn't understand the other. He also drops the Scarlet Key. That's funny. But yeah, Robe of Doan, the Illusionary Rod. These are apparently items that were not in the game anymore. That when they changed these dungeons, that these items were basically removed from the game. So this allows players that perhaps didn't have some of these to finally collect them. Where it's not just about, of course, the Scarlet Hall's dungeons, but also, you know, Scholomance and Noxramas as well. Which, like I said, I'll try and do the Scholomance thing on a separate video. And I'll see if I can also do the Noxramas one, though, let's just say both of those are kind of involved. Now, some of the issues in terms of unlocking Scholomance I can be able to take care of by simply buying some of the stuff I need from the auction house. However, one of the issues I found out is that to do the Noxramas thing, you are going to need some rep when it comes to the Argent Dawn, which I'm going to have to check which of my characters actually has that. I think you have to be at least honored. And if you're exalted, you actually can skip some of the materials that are required to complete the quest. Alright, so that was the library. I wonder if the new quest line involves doing these old Scarlet dungeons. If that's the case, you'll probably see me go through these more than once. What's funny is they're attacking me, and it's like, you know, the Scarlet Crusades thing is they despise undead and such. That's one of their main things. Now you would, now I would be like, no, wait a minute, why are you guys attacking me? I'm just a mage, and I'm not an undead mage. I'm a blood elf. But then again, Horde. Although technically, the blood elves were not a part of the Horde yet at this point. Historically, me going through here as a blood elf mage, they're just like, a high elf mage.
I don't have a target.
It's one of those blood elves from Quathalos. Just kind of invading our sanctum. So it looks like there's only one boss in here. Herod. Now, that name may sound familiar if you saw my video recently on Old Hillsbrad Foothills, the dungeon from Burning Crusade. We saw him as a child, where he was actually a bully. He was actually called Herod the Bully.
Ah, I've been waiting for a real challenge.
Wow. Apparently, once he gets aggroed, everybody runs in.
I need a target.
Like, quick! We must avenge Herod! It's funny that even with them being at level 30, that they're still kind of aggroing to me, even though I am not only max level, but also, you know, my mage is 426. So, like, yeah, she can one-shot everything, and yet they are still aggroing to her, which, when I go through old content, usually the aggro range on, like, stuff, you know, taking a max level character through some of this stuff, is very, very small. Like, I would have to, like, literally, like, walk, like, right up to them and through them in order to aggro them. But here, I'm just kind of, like, barely walking by them, and they're like, hey! Like, if I walk around this corner, I still aggroed those two. And normally, I'd have to, like, walk through this guy in order to aggro him. But here, it's just like, no. Alright. So that's the third. And so now last, but certainly not least, the cathedral. Well, hello there. Pretty sure we know who's in here. And there are 3 bosses in here, because of course there are. Including the secret boss. He's back! Unlike the Minister of Magic. He's back! Wait, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a very well-known secret boss. So much for it being secret, right? But back in the day, there was a secret boss where, I guess having it marked here on the map, although I'm pretty sure it doesn't look like this way back in Classic, but there was, you know, a secret boss behind a secret door that you had to, like, do the whole, oh, just flip the candle switch, and there he is. But if you do so in the current version in retail, the Pandaria version, he's not there anymore. All that's there is a corpse that's supposed to represent him, but he's not a boss you can actually fight anymore. And so we open the doors to the cathedral, and there he is! Scarlet Commander Mograine. Now, what's also very interesting is that there was actually an event you could do in this dungeon, which was actually kind of awesome, and I so wish I had the means to actually show this off on camera. Unfortunately, now, I may have to test this out on my Paladin, because I do have the Legion version of the Corrupted Ashbringer on my Paladin. But it's the Legion version, not the classic vanilla version. Back in the day, you actually could get a version of the Corrupted Ashbringer in vanilla, and if you brought it here, you had this awesome event where Mograine would come out of the Ashbringer and confront his son right there and kill him. It was awesome. It's like an actual in-lore event. It's canon. And I so want to be able to show it off. And if there is a way, if that actually triggers, if I bring my Paladin here, I will be ecstatic, because I would love to show it to you guys.
Infidels. They must be purified.
And of course the entire room aggros. And here comes Whitemane.
Arise, my champion.
At your side, milady.
Huh. It didn't keep their old voice lines. Huh. Scarlet Leggings, the set bonus there. But yeah, they kept the old Arise, my champion, because there was clearly something going on there between Whitemane and Mograine. Which, considering that Whitemane is now one of the horsemen, and the other Mograine is also one of the horsemen, that's kind of probably, I imagine there have been a couple of awkward conversations between the two of them, where Mograine probably was like, so, about you and my brother. And she's like, yeah, I'd rather not talk about that with you. That's gonna feel very weird. And he's like, alright, fine, fair enough. A torch I can click on. I wonder what happens. A secret passageway. Hello, High Inquisitor Fairbanks. I imagine if you got some of these blue items to drop back in the day, it was a big deal. A huge deal. I got a lot of green cloths here that I don't have the appearances of, so that's nice. I got some extra transmog pieces here. Which I guess is going to be part of the thing, is to, now that this is a count-wide unlock, taking like each of your characters through here to get these things is going to be kind of cool. Unfortunately, though, I don't really have the means to check what exactly is available to do that. Because even if I look at the Scarlett Monastery, it's like, well, this is kind of like the stuff that would have dropped from Pandaria, but it's not probably the same stuff that would drop here in the vanilla version. At least I don't think so. So there's the Lightbreaker Greatsword. See, he doesn't even show the, So the Scarlet Leggings thing, that's not even showing here. So there is a different loot table for the classic version, but you can't look it up in retail. At least I don't think you can. So that's something that Blizzard is probably going to have to try and, add for players. Allow those of us, once we unlock this on our account, allow us to be able to actually, look it up and see what can drop from this and what we can actually focus on trying to farm. I'm just saying that would be kind of nice. Anyways, so yeah, that is the, unlocking the old Scarlet Monastery dungeons from vanilla for your account and going through them, as I just showed you guys, going through all 4 of them. I don't know how long this will be available, other than I think it goes away once the Headless Horseman event is over, once Hallow's End is over. So try to, if you want this unlocked, you got to do it now, before the event ends. Log in, use your characters to try and kill the Headless Horseman, so you can get the Scarlet Key to drop just once, and then take it to the Scarlet Monastery, have it on, and then unlock it for your account. And in fact, let's go ahead and, real quick, just in case you guys are wondering about whether or not this is something that is going to work if I now switch to a different character, let's go ahead and test that, shall we? So let's swap to my other mage on the Horde, my Nightborn. Although she doesn't have the Ancient Dalaran teleport, does she? No, I haven't taken her through that to unlock it for her. Oh well. In that case, I'll just teleport to Undercity. It's the next closest thing. Huh. Because, yeah, this is the current version of Tears Fall. So now we shall, excuse me, easy for me to say, head on over to the monastery once again. And the key ring should be right there for me to go ahead and enable on this character. And there it is. So yeah, this key ring will now be here on my account for all my characters. So now, once you have it unlocked, you go here on a different character, and there you go. You're set to go. So, I will be also trying to show you guys how to unlock old vanilla Scholomance or Sholomance, whichever you prefer, in a separate video, and then see what I can do about unlocking some of the stuff from old Noxramas. Stay tuned.